Yo, perfect timing, perfect timing. Hey, Rockstar. The quote I have for you guys today, I saw it on a movie that I saw over the holidays called The Best Christmas Ever. But Rockstar, try this thought on for size. Everything comes with a purpose. And when God gives you a gift, the best thank you can give is to use it. Yeah, try that thought on for size. Welcome. My name is Josafat Emiliano, and this is Hey Rockstar. Hey, I'm excited. First show of the year. It's going to be a good one. And Miguel, do the thing, yo.
One, two, three. One, two, three. Let's go.
Hey Rockstar. Welcome. This is a show devoted to bringing value to those interested in starting a side hustle or side business. Whether you're looking to be dual vocational, full-time, part-time, or sometime, I bet our stories will entertain you, encourage you, and empower you to become the rock star of your business and industry. Yes, and we are back. Thank you for showing up to episode 101, The Art of Singleness. This is the first episode of 2024. Happy New Year, Rockstar. How was your celebration? Did you have fun? Did you get to spend it with loved ones? Did you travel? Did you do a stay-home vacation? I get it. Christmas, a lot of people were out and about, but some people decided to stick around. Either way, I want to welcome you. Welcome to this platform. Right now, we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and now Instagram. So those are the three platforms that we'll be streaming on. If you make any comments, I can see you. As a matter of fact, shout out to Davis Jackson, who just says, yo, the beat or the best. I'm not sure. Either way, I take it, my man. Good to see you. I miss you. I love you, man. Happy New Year's to you and your family. I've been keeping up with what you've been posting. You've been doing some good stuff yourself. I'm so proud of you, Davis. Uh, he's saying yo. So the only kickback from watching on Instagram, I won't be able to highlight any kind of comments you guys drop on StreamYard, but I am watching it on my second monitor here, and I'll be able to keep an eye to see. And I'll be able to comment back to you guys. And of course, if anyone makes a comment on Facebook or YouTube, I'll be able to highlight it on StreamYard. That's the magic. I'm excited. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things happened since January 1st. I got some great announcements to share at the end of the show. I'm just going to have fun sharing with you over the topic today. Let's see. What did Jackson just say? Or Davis just say? He said, good to see you too. Amen, my man. Amen. So, Rockstar, let's just jump in. Let's have fun. As a matter of fact, let me take the shades off so I can see you a little bit better. You guys won't be distracted with the lights that I have. That's one thing that I was able to do over the holiday. I went to my storage. I got my soft lights. So now I have better lighting here at the Rockstar Studio in Andrews, America. So you can see me a little bit better. I love it. I've cleared out the area, so there's so much more to work with. Although the back looks the same to you, give or take. But hey, I had a great time. I during the holidays, I spent it with family, loved ones. This New Year's, I did something that I haven't done in years. Ever since I left to Nashville, I haven't done this. So here in small town Andrews, America, where we grew up, a lot of a lot of the traditions that we had growing up is we would spend the last day of the year in church. Nothing wrong against it. It's just it's what we would do. Small Latin American churches, and normally the service would start later. For example, it started at 9 uh, this time, and the only part that was kind of tough is that it's a chance for anyone and everyone to go up there and just appreciate and give a testimony. And usually most people they just want to sing, and it's cool when you have full band. But for some reason this year the musicians in my dad's church were all out of town, and so I went up there to help them out, and I was the only player. I'm way out of practice. So the way I was taught how to play piano was basically you learn to play by ear. And then the discipline in which I grew in is you'd go up there and Sister Bertha would go up and she would just say, I'm gonna sing this song. Whether first of all, do you know the song or do I know the song or not? Most of the times I didn't know the song. And then Sister Bertha would take off and I would have to figure out what key she's in and then follow along to a song I'd never heard before. So it was the discipline, true discipline of learning to play by ear. But I got pretty good at it. My friends and I, we got really good at following. And then eventually you get used to the songs and you know them. But they did stump me a few times. There's another sister. I'm not gonna mention her name, bless her heart. Where she took off. I found the key, and then she took off a whole different direction. I'm like, oh my gosh, help me. Either way, it was a glorious time. And then we ended the night in prayer and in celebration. And then afterwards, the best part is we all go to the fellowship hall and we fill up on tamales, menudo, buñuelos, those little deep fried tortilla things with cinnamon sugar. Oh, hot chocolate and with loved ones around and just enjoy bringing in the new year. And then January 1st, got to spend it with my best friends. We did breakfast and just we caught up with our lives. Anyway, that's in a nutshell. That's how I celebrated the the new year, which it was great. It was great because for the past 5 6 years, I've spent it in a different town, different city every new year. Of course, Nashville, being one of the places that has like the greatest firework exhibition or exhibit and music. I definitely did a few times there in Nashville, but then I did some New Year's and I remember one time we were in Cancun, the other one we were in Dallas, another one in San Antonio, another one. I've been all over the place. For the past 5 6 years, I was always in a different city for New Year's Eve. But it was not so it was nice. It was nice being back in Andrews, America to celebrate with family and loved ones and doing traditional things, low key things that I didn't regret the next morning. But anyway, let's get to the topic at hand. Those of you who are showing up, they want to know first of all the thumbnail. Welcome to Singleness 101. Professor Emiliano's in session. He's here to talk to you students about the art of singleness. And I'll explain why I'm focused on singleness. Matter of fact, yeah. It's it's something that most people it's left a bad taste in some people's mouth. For some reason, they think that if you're single, there's something wrong with you. Like the norm is you got to be with someone apparently, or if you're single for longer than whatever 6 months, longer than a year, or whatever, what's wrong with you? Like the norm for us is to be partnered up with someone, and I get it. We're not meant to walk this life alone, but different things happen, and there's some people who find themselves in this situation, and I just want to help you to celebrate. Um, there's for whatever reason you find yourself single, separation, a death, you're now widowed, or you just haven't figured out what you want to do with your life, so you don't want to complicate it with bringing someone else into the mixture. I get it. For whatever reason, I'm talking to those though. I am talking for those who feel that singleness might be a bad time in their lives, or the singleness is a moment of punishment or something that is just it causes you to be looked upon as an outcast. I want to give a great I want to change your perspective on singleness and how you can use this moment. I call it a season. It's a season where you are not weighed down by the responsibilities of others in your lives. The only person you have to worry about is yourself. Now, there are single parents out there, or and that might be a different cause because you have a little one you got to take care of. But at the same time, at least you're not bothered with the needs of another adult, and that kind of situation. But let's focus on singleness and how it could be helpful for you. It's just a and I just put down like just a few notes. Let me pull it up, and I want to talk about things, just 5 areas or 5 things that you can do in this season of singleness. Remember, singleness doesn't have to be forever. If it's not a choice, then you can decide that you don't want to be single, but work on you. Get a chance to work on you. Get a chance to create and do the things you want to do. So let's just go in with the points. The first the point I have here is when you're single, it's a chance to embrace your independence. I remember the first time I tasted independence was when I was able to move away to college. And I had to learn things like how to have my bank account, how to um, how to take care of little minor things in my vehicle, how to uh, just you know I also had to learn time management for myself because in college I didn't have a mom or dad tell me I need to go to bed, I need to wake up, I need to go to this and be responsible, I need to go to work. I had to learn that life, or I had to learn that responsibility for myself. I didn't have anyone to mother me or father me or cater to me. I had to figure out things for myself. Now, there's a freedom when you there's a sense of confidence that comes to you when you overcome something as in as a single. When you learn to take control of things in your life and take ownership and management. Now, for those of you who are married and have families, you probably like this guy is not hitting me. There's some people who, because they've been so dependent on a partner or dependent on someone else and never been single in their lives, that it's scary for them to have to figure things out, like pumping your own gas, or like cooking your own meal for yourself, or just like driving to a destination by yourself. Of course, now we have like technology really helps us out a lot with GPS and those kind of things. I don't know why this thought came to mind. In my household, I was more of the creative, more of the entertainer, not so much into the mechanical things. Oh, I just triggered my camera. See if I can get it to stop. I don't want it to follow me around. Here, let me reset it. All right. And I do remember one time I was living in Fort Worth, and my carburetor, was it the carburetor? No, no, no. Alternator on my truck died. And I called I so the only thing I could do is I called my brother because he's the mechanic of the house. Like, bro, I think my alternator is dead or something, or my truck won't start. And and anyway, we found out it was the alternator. And a friend of mine gave me a ride to, actually, yeah, gave me a ride to the AutoZone, and I was able to buy one. And I'm like, "Well, what do I do?" And my brother's like, "Well, figure it out." And so, thankfully, the guy at the AutoZone told me, "Well, there's a diagram, something," because I had to release the belt and do the stuff. Anyway, so I remember I opened the truck, I followed the instructions, I borrowed a socket wrench kit from one of my friends, and I went there and I changed the alternator. And I remember when I put it back together, and then I went to to crank the key, like, is this thing gonna work? And sure enough, the truck turned on. I waited a sec, nothing popped. Then I went and put it in gear and drove around the block. And I was excited because I've never done anything like that before. And I remember calling my brother and so excited saying, "Hey, Baby brother finally changed. Baby brother changed the alternator. He goes, "Congratulations, you are officially a gearhead." Of course, um, I'm not, by no means am I the world's best mechanic. I've learned to become friends with mechanics, but I can take care of little things. But no, just that sense of I did it on my own. I was able to take care of myself. I was able to provide for myself. I was able to learn. I have the potential and the power to do things on my own. It's nice to do things with others, but you get a sense of pride or just a sense of accomplishment when you learn how do I put it? How to embrace your independence. How you can be um, someone that whoever you want to be. And of course, and this also put little side notes on, you get to work on self-discovery, you get to work on personal growth, and then you can also pursue individual goals. You can set aside goals that really interest you. If you wanted to learn how to cook, if you wanted to learn some kind of mechanics, if you wanted to learn another language, right now is the best time for you to devote time towards this betterment of goals that you have for yourself. So that's one of the first things that I posted that you can do in this season of singleness for yourself. The second thing I have here is self love and confidence. Let me read my little side notes here. What I meant by that. Explore the significance of self love. And yeah, there was a book. I should have pulled it out. It's in storage. When I was there getting my lights, I should have gone into my. I had boxes and boxes of books in storage. I just need to follow my little sister's advice and just donate all my books to who knows who needs it. But there was one book by an author, Dr. Monroe, and it was called it's something singleness. But I do remember that in this book, he was teaching on, a marriage is not two single people. A marriage is not two incomplete people coming together to be complete, but rather two. Um, what's the word? This camera is gonna just do what it wants to do. Uh, it's it's a sorry, the camera just threw me off there. Um, but a marriage is when two people who are complete as singles decide to partner up and do life together. But they know how to provide. They know how to thrive as a single person first. They're okay being single, but they decide now they can partner and do life with someone else. And I kind of like, and I've shared this before. Those of you who are familiar with TD Jakes, one time in an interview, he was talking about how he has taken the time to get to know himself because he's dated himself. He's taken the time to figure out what he likes about himself, what he doesn't like. And so let's just bring it back to you. When you're single, you can express self love in the fact that you can probably take care of yourself. You can play with with the idea of things that you just didn't know. Um, how would I put it? I don't want to make it sound like you kind of forget the world and you love yourself because that's kind of self-centered. But no, it's more of a get a chance to learn what you like and what you don't like about yourself, and at the same time, and I had this conversation with the painter GB, who I want to get him on my show. We're talking about sometimes when you're doing self-discovery, you also got to learn about pleasure. And I'm not going to go too deep into that, but pleasure as into what brings you joy, what brings you just a sense ah of comfort of and I don't want to say eroticism, but yeah, I guess so, or just what turns you on, what things are comfortable for you to do and what things are not comfortable for you to do. And as you express and you learn more about yourself, what you like, what you don't like, you can learn to set the right kind of boundaries. So when you're ready to move forward, you know what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do. But now because you're aware of yourself, you're expressing yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you're loving yourself, you're pampering yourself, you are you are receiving energy, you are filling yourself up. You got to fill your love tank up before you can give to others. So that's what the whole self-care, self-love is about. It's a chance to do it. And usually when we are in a relationship, it's all about giving and serving others. It's all about putting them first, about making sure that their needs are met before we put ourselves first. And sometimes, and if we don't take the time to pour into ourselves, to take care of ourselves, self-love, um, we become empty shells. We become very bitter. We become sad sometimes. We lose our identity. But anyway, and of course, confidence is built in this moment of uh, of self love, because again, it goes back to the once you discover to do things for yourself, you take that pride in, I can make it. I can win this game. I can do something amazing. All right. So shout out to everyone who's joining us. I see uh looks like Tori. Hey, and Alice. Welcome to the show. No one on the other ends yet. How about you guys? What kind of self-love do you guys, or self-care, sorry, self-love and self-care, do you guys practice for yourselves? Personal boundaries and fostering a positive image, which is important. The next thing I have here is exploring personal passions. So I don't know what you're passionate about. And sometimes our partners aren't in line with what we're passionate about. Uh, it's kind of I'm trying to think of a more recent example because I'm thinking about all these examples as kids. You know, when you're with your siblings, you're growing up, you're in a household. You know, you all have different tastes, you all have different likes. Like I remember my sister, she loved musicals, and we had videos and DVDs and VHSs of musicals. And as a kid, I really couldn't enjoy it as much as cartoons or action. So unless it was a cartoon musical like The Lion King or Fantasia, what else was pretty big at the time? Well, you get the gist. But like I guess Mary Poppins was pretty cool. But the other musicals I just couldn't get into. Of course, now that I'm older, um, or now that I've actually worked in theater, I can appreciate a good musical. I can appreciate the, the artistry in the performance of a musical. Of course, sometimes, yeah, I just, you know what? Let's do movies. Best example, movies. Let's say you love scary movies, horror movies, but your partner doesn't. Your partner doesn't like horror movies, doesn't want anything scary, doesn't enjoy any of that stuff, doesn't like the colors of anything that reminds them of any kind of scary thing. Well, now that you are free and you don't have a partner, you you can indulge and watch these things, or you can decorate your house in the season, or you can whatever you want. You can go to Fright Fest. You can go to these big events that people get to dress up and all that fun stuff, whatever it is, cosplay. You know, if that's something that you're passionate about, go it. If you are passionate about writing, now you have time to sit down and write and not worry about distractions. If you're passionate about teaching, then you can work on becoming an educator. You can go back to school. You can go back and learn and get the degrees that you need, get the whatever you need, whatever it is. If you're passionate about cooking, then by all means, get into the kitchen and you can make whatever a mess you need to make, as long as you clean up after yourself, and not worry about someone judging you. And if it's not the best, well, you can say it's not the best. You have to worry about someone else judging you or avoiding you, whatever. It's a chance for you to explore those kind of things. If you like to travel, what better time to travel than when you're single? Let me just read the notes that I have here because I'm going off book a lot. So it's whether it's pursuing hobbies, advancing in a career, or engaging in creative pursuits, highlight the benefits of channeling energy into fulfilling endeavors. And when you start to work and do the things that you just always wanted to try out, again, you start to feed yourself. You start to pour energy into yourself. You start finding that fulfillment because you are having the adventure that you've always wanted to have. You don't have to worry about whether someone else likes it or not, because that's what you wanted to do. Follow your passions, and that's something to get that you get a chance to do when you aren't single. The other thing that I have here is navigating social expectations. Let me just read the notes. Provide tips on confidently navigating questions or oh sorry, that was notes for myself. Navigating social expectations. All right. I remember one time. It's been a long time um, since I was in a serious relationship, and I'll be honest with you. In Nashville, the 9 years I was there, I I'm being vulnerable here, just sharing my story. Coming out of a long relationship that truly I was heartbroken, borderline depressed, gained a lot of weight, and I was at my heaviest when I moved to Nashville, and I just needed to change the scenery. I also was burnt out from what I was doing in the mission field, and I just needed a break from everything. Of course, it didn't help that the relationship didn't last. But anyway, when I went there, I really wasn't looking for anything serious. So I really didn't date. I would date casually. You know, you'd meet people and you'd go on lunch dates, dinner dates, whatever, meetups, whatever. But I really didn't didn't focus on that. And eventually, life just got easier, not focusing on that, not worrying about. I enjoyed the being alone. I always thought that I was extrovert and I thrived around a lot of people. And until I lived in a house where it was a lot of people nonstop, that I burnt out on a lot of people nonstop. And eventually, that's when I moved in and found a place by myself, and I started enjoying being alone. And then I like, well, am I an introvert? No, it turns out I'm ambivert. I can thrive um, in crowds, or I also learn how to find energy when I'm by myself. So I can dwell in both areas. But so I found myself doing a lot more, uh, and I was doing self development on myself. So I really wasn't focused on dating seriously. And eventually, I just got into comfortable into that, and maybe I borderline got to the point where I just didn't remember how to date, at least not in church circles that I was in. Anyway, I'm saying all that because 9 years is a long time for some people to not be in a quote, quote, serious, committed relationship. And some people have would give me flack like, "What's wrong with you?" You know, I've had that question like, "What's wrong with you?" That's a red flag. And for a minute there, I thought it was. I actually had to do some Google search, or actually I do ChatGPT search, and like, "Hey, ChatGPT, is there something wrong with me because I haven't been in a long-term relationship for 9 years?" And I like what Chat said. I should pull it up, but basically they're saying, "No, the reason why it's become a social norm. People assume that the hookup and the being in a relationship is what needs to be done, but that's not really the that's someone else's standard." And I started thinking to myself, you know what? That is true. And here's something else. And again, sorry if I step on toes here, but in certain churches, they really look, especially in Hispanic churches, Latin American church, heck, coming back. I don't know how many times I've had little old ladies come up to me and say, "Hey, we're praying for you that you finally get married." I'm like, "Thank you. I'm praying for that too, but I'm okay. I'm not. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me because I'm focused on purpose. I'm finding the strength that I need in this, in my time as a single. Um, but I'm saying I had to realize, oh, and I love it because Myron Golden, he was talking about um, Isaac, and when Abraham sent the the servant to go find his wife, um, Rebecca, and he went and he found Rebecca, brought her back, and it said that Isaac was 40, over 40 when he got married to Rebecca. And he's like, look, and Isaac lived with his father. He goes, look, there's nothing wrong with waiting till you're older to get married. Matter of fact, and there's nothing wrong with leaving the house or being in the house until you're 40 or until you're married. He goes, the Bible says that the man will unite with his wife and they will leave, but not until you find that marriage. So long as you're single, there's no need in leaving. You can work and provide and help out your family or whatever. Now, I know the American mindset is once you turn 17, 18, you got to move out of the house, get your own place and this and that, and get that mindset. But it's in the culture of like Middle East and even some Asian cultures is it's all about the unit. The family stays together and they grow together. And yes, once you establish your own family, then you can move on and grow, continue to grow. But also, I think culturally in the biblical times, they would build houses on top of each other. Like the father had the house and the sons would build another house on top. And basically they would just help each other out, but growing and becoming wealthier and contributing and providing and sharing. It's that common mindset, common goal set, unity. And like that's pretty cool too. But anyway, where am I going with these thoughts? Combined social norms. Let me bring it up again. What's up, Joe? I see you just joined us on Instagram. Navigating social expectations. You see, the people around you, they think their way is right. And it could be for them. But just because it works for them doesn't mean that that's the way you need to go. You see, you have a mind to think for yourself. You have the ability to create things for yourself. Now, I get it, and I recommend that you need to find mentorship, especially if you're aiming for something else. But right now in the season of singleness, it's the best time to decide what's going to be your norm, what's going to be your value. I like the way that that's set up. When you set up your values and you decide this is what I want to go, regardless of what everyone around me is telling me that this is what they think is best for me, I need to learn what's best for me. And the best time to figure that out is when you're single. The best time to stop being a people pleaser and start working on you and your boundaries is when you are in your age of singleness. And on that note, we'll move to the last point I have here. The last point I have is when you're single, you can learn to build strong connections, or did I? Yeah, connections. You can find a tribe of people with the same mindset, with the same values. When you are with someone else, when you are um, yoked with someone else, you have to bring into consideration their tribe, their values, their family. But when you are single, you can declare what you want to do. And then you can also seek out people who want to do the same things you do. See, you're free to make your choices. You're free to develop them strong communications, them strong friendships, them strong brotherhoods or sisterhoods. And basically, it's just to I want to encourage you just to during this time of singleness, you can build meaningful connections with friends and family. As a single, I really have appreciated getting to spend more time with my family these days, getting to see my sisters, my brother, my nieces and nephews. I get to see my parents more often these days because I have the freedom to travel and go where they need when they need help. Matter of fact, I might be partnering up with some family to help them with something here in the next few months or so, where they need help. My skills can, but I have that flexibility being a single person. Anyway, so to recap, I just picked 5 things. There's a lot of things that you can do during your time of singleness. Is the first thing is, as a single, you learn first to embrace your independence. You learn to practice self-love, self-care, and build confidence during that time. You get to explore your personal passions, learn to navigate social expectations, and figure out what values work for you. And the last thing is, you also can build strong connections. Because again, being single doesn't mean being alone, isolation. You just got to find your right tribe. You just got to find the right people. On that note, the big announcement that I have for you guys is that I started a community. I, I Let me just share this story. Earlier during last year, I went to a men's conference, powerful event. They brought in speakers, they brought in leaders, they brought in men of God to come and pour into this event. The event was for fathers and sons and just men in general. But if and as I was sitting through all the sessions and listening to what was being brought and what was being taught and what was being ministered to us, I kind of noticed one thing amongst the special guests. Now there are local speakers who I've already known, and since they've already have they knew the crowd, they just kind of went in and just s- spoke as the Lord led. But then there was some who were special speakers. They didn't really know the crowd, but they kind of had a little icebreaker, and almost everyone said the same thing. They're like, "All right, raise your hand if you are a married father. All right, let's see the married man, all that stuff." And it's good, nothing against that. But I also kind of looked around and I noticed, hey, there's a lot of single men here too. There's single fathers here. There's men in their 30s, 40s, 50s who, for whatever reason, they're not. They find themselves single right now. Where's the guy? Where's the person who's here to speak for them? Who's here to listen to them? And as I was watching and thinking these things, Holy Spirit, and the way He does, He just kind of spoke to my heart and said, "Hey, aren't you a speaker? Josafat? Yeah. Aren't you a mentor? Yeah. I mentor entrepreneurs and leaders. And don't you know what it's like to be in long times of singleness and yet find strength and empowerment and growth for yourself in these times of singleness?" Like, yeah. Then who better equipped to be the voice, to be the coach, to be the mentor to these men? And I'm like, wow, there's a need for that. There's a generation of men in the church, or just men of faith in general, who have lost a sense of masculinity, who have lost a sense of direction, who have lost a sense of purpose. And they feel that singleness is a curse rather than the blessing that it is. It's a season of growth. And so I'm starting off with a community, a free community. If you're on Facebook, it's there. All you got to do is do a search for Sacred Men's Co. It's black and gold. Actually, I should type it in for you guys. Let's do it over here on the banners. And what this is, uh, hold on. How do I change my title here? Edit name. Let's see. Edit name and headline. There we go. Let me just put. There you go. Sacred Men's Company. It's a company of soldiers, a company of men. And what this is, it's a platform set to empower single men of faith while they're on their purpose journey. While you're trying to figure out how to do life in this time of life, just come in. It's not a place where we're here to preach you our personal convictions. It's a place where we can compare notes and help just share what's working for us, what's working for you, what's not working for you. And how can we help each other out? How can we encourage each other? How can we become a voice of encouragement, a standard to just be there to help one another? And of course, ladies, don't forget, don't feel bad if because and I need to put this on my notes. Right now I am focused on helping men, but I know there's women who also might find themselves in this time of singleness, and they're like, hey, what about us? I have partnered up with an amazing person. I want to make sure I don't mispronounce her name. Her name is Jennifer. Let me double check the name. And actually I should just actually in the Licciardi. Licciardi. Should have told her. But the cool thing is, she's actually going to be on the show. And we can talk more about what she does for women. She works on empowering ambitious women to get clarity and direction. And I was telling her, like, I'm going to be working with men, but I also am going to be sharing these messages. I know women are going to want some support too. So she said, yes, she would love to do this. So on the description, I'll go back and I'll type a link to connect with her for women who are also seeking a community where they can share notes and encourage each other and find that empowerment that they need. But anyway, that was the quick two messages I want to share on this. I would like to know your thoughts on singleness. Those of you who still are, or maybe you're not single, but yet you wish you were. No, or you, uh, there are other things you learned during your time of singleness. Just add them to the comments, bring them to light. We'd love to know more about that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was a quick show. Not even a quick, but those are the thoughts that I had on the art of singleness. 5 ways for you to get the most of this season of singleness in your life. So, until next time, my name is Josafat Emiliano. This has been Hey Rockstar. It's a show for leaders and entrepreneurs where they can share their stories so that you who are wanting to become a leader and entrepreneur can find the value, they can find the empowerment, you can find the encouragement you need to go and become the rock star of your industry. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And so, all the way from Andrews, America, I want to say thank you for being here. And until next time, much love and many blessings.